Where am I on autopilot? Where am I good? But I'm just not sharpening it the way I used to, because the gap between what's good and our potential, that gap is great. And so if we can take what we're good at and we can really begin to go back and sharpen that, hone that like we did in order to build that skill set, then we can start reaching towards our potential and pull ourselves out of this drift.
Being in a small group that's focused on supporting each other, it doesn't matter if we're even doing the same kind of video, the same kind of industry, in the same area. People are going to resonate with us differently, and we bring something unique to the table, but it's like plugging into a community of like-minded people that really view the world with an abundance mindset. It's just so much better.
That very first step in the framework is clarity. And, it's consistently asking yourself a single question. What do I want? Because what you want today looks different than what you wanted 5 years ago, 6 months ago.
On episode 448 of the podcast, we talk about how to break free from business autopilot without burning everything down, why the gap between good enough and your potential is costing you more than you think, and then also the simple question that could completely redirect your next 90 days. What is up, my friend? Hey, welcome to the Grow Your Video Business podcast. We're all about helping you build a thriving, profitable video business without burning out. My name is Ryan Coral, and today I am excited to introduce you to Chris Robinson, who is the Executive Vice President of Maxwell Leadership. He's author of a brand new book entitled From Drift to Drive. Chris's message was really good. Hit me like a rumble strip on the highway. You know, that like subtle wake-up call that literally can save your life. He has developed a framework for breaking free from what he calls careless security, and get your pen and paper out and get ready to take some notes. Lots of good stuff. It's incredible, the quality of people that I have on this show. I love it. I'm inspired by it. I'm encouraged by it and grateful for it. If you are new here and you're looking to figure out what's a fast track to like getting my business to the place where I'm not stressed about it, where I'm making more money, I've got some more freedom in my life. Well, I have all the answers for you, my friend. It's just this, if you take this one pill, then all your problems go away and your business will, okay, yeah, I'm joking. But I do have a workshop that I put together the last 20 years of me building my own video production business. And if you've been listening, my new direction, I want to get to the end of 2026 and have my business be in a place where it is ready to sell, where I could sell it. I could step out of the business. Will I sell it? I don't know yet, but I am gangbusters doing something very focused, very different that I've been doing for a long time. So anyway, I say all of this to say I've been in the trenches. I'm still in the trenches in different areas of my business, but I've jam-packed all of my best learnings in a workshop built, designed for you. So if you're a filmmaker, freelance, or you have an agency, but you're just trying to figure out some different things that can help you build something more efficient, better, stronger, whatever, I've put this into a workshop for you. So you can access the workshop by going to studiosherpas.com/workshop. Get access to it there. You'll also get on our list, and when cool events, in-person things that I host or other things are happening, you'll be able to be notified there as well. So that's it. That's enough for my pre-ramble. Let's get into today's episode. Here we go. What's up, friends? Hey, welcome to another episode of the show. With me today is my brand new best friend, no pressure at all, Chris Robinson, who is the Executive Vice President of Maxwell Leadership. He's an author, speaker, coach, and about to be a podcast, podcast guest professional.
Right.
Lots coming up with the new book. Chris, thanks for being here. Thank you for your patience during that epic intro. Welcome to the show.
Hey, so glad to be on here with you, Ryan. Looking forward to having a little bit of fun here with you today. And yes, you are right. Going to be a podcast guest professional by the end of this. Now, for years, Maxwell Leadership's been asking me to, Chris, just do a podcast. I've said no. And here I am. I'm going on 50 podcasts in less than 90 days to get this thing going. going. And so, and again, it's a lot easier than actually me doing it every single week. I just get on the schedule and do it.
Right. So, I mean, the most exciting thing in your world is a new book.
Yeah, it is. It is.
So, give us the what's the what do you want to tell the world? What's your message right now?
Well, I love it, man. Well, thanks for asking. And that's what I want to talk about is this brand new book called From Drift to Drive. This is a high achiever's guide to breaking the chains of complacency. And so this book really walks you through a 7-step framework to help you kind of pull out of that drift that you might be in. You know, I know a lot of your listeners, they have their own production companies, they're filmmakers, and they've done things a certain way, and they've begun to drift. Like they've got some results, they've got some success, and they're doing the same things, but they aren't doing the things that they did in the very beginning. And now they're starting to drift and wondering why things aren't getting better. And so what my goal is with this book for any industry is to be what I call a leadership rumble strip. And I don't know if you ever pay attention on the roads, and you know, they've got these little cuts inside the road, and all of a sudden if you drift off, what happens is there's a rumble. There's a subtle awakening that happens when you do that. But think about that subtle shift. That subtle rumble has actually accounted for decreasing fatalities by 70%. So my goal with this book is to really be this rumble strip to wake you up today, to get you going back in the right direction.
Save some lives or maybe some businesses.
Yeah, indeed. Indeed.
It's so interesting. The timing of this is very, very interesting for me. This is why I love having a show. This is why you should have a show, because you get to like hear from people and be like, oh my gosh, like I'm actually going through this right now.
Right.
I had a conversation with a guy at my studio this morning, and we're kind of like brand new friends, not as brand new as you and I. And I'm telling him, I said, if you would have asked me about my business 6 months ago, I would have, if I could have just burned it down and started something new, I would.
Right.
And the biggest reason is because I have drifted.
Right.
My original why and where things are at in the business, the things that I built years ago, that they worked, and everything is a little bit different, or a lot different in some areas. And I've been hitting some rumble strips along the way. So I want to hear more. What is the, like, if there's one thing, and maybe it's the first part of the framework, but what is the one thing that as a business owner we need to pay attention to, or we just need to, I don't know, have our eyes be open to?
Well, I mean, the first thing is we do have to create an awareness that, hey, there is complacency inside of our life. Now, when I wrote the book, the word complacency was really kind of just, everyone wanted to not talk about complacency. And the reason being is because people think of complacency, we tie it to laziness or apathy. And if you go back to the origin of the word, complacency, its original term means careless security. Careless security. So that means that it's a place of comfort that we're in that we just don't want to let go of. And so, you know, when it boils down, so first we have to identify it. All right, is, hey, what areas of our life are we being complacent? And complacency looks and sounds like average. It feels like normal. It feels like, well, I don't really have to work to do that. Like the preparation that you did to have to get ready for this podcast, because you've done hundreds of them.
Right.
You prepared a lot more for it, you know, 5 years ago, 2 years ago. Whenever you started, you were doing a whole lot more.
Oh, yeah. A lot more sweating.
You know, but today you don't have to do that because a lot of it's on autopilot. But now it's going back and asking myself, where am I on autopilot? Where am I good? But I'm just not sharpening it the way I used to, because the gap between our what's good and our potential, that gap is great. And so if we can take what we're good at and we can really begin to go back and sharpen that, hone that like we did in order to build that skill set, then we can start reaching towards our potential and pull ourselves out of this drift.
I love that. I resonate with that too much. I'm wondering, in your experience, is this really something that somebody can do effectively on their own? And I'll just say, you know, you I think, I've heard stories, even my own story, like, at one point in my, I don't want to say like my weight gain journey,
Yeah.
but at some point, I look in the mirror and I'm just like, ugh,
Oof.
like this is not, it's not, but man, I wish I would have noticed that, 5 years ago
Right.
and done something about it.
But Ryan, you did.
Yes. Yeah.
You did. But you're okay with it. Like, it's not that bad. I'm like,
Yeah.
you know what? You're in the mirror flexing, go, well, it's not that bad. I've seen bigger guys. I've seen, and you're okay with it until you finally got to a point that said, oh, this is off. This is off.
Yeah. I think, I think I'll just say maybe an interrupter in this whole, like maybe that has gotten in the way of what should be a rumble strip, but might be also an excuse. Since COVID, I mean, that really had, it just messed up everything I had planned for the business.
Yeah.
I had two people that were with me for 10 years each. Both of them left and started their own businesses, and that wasn't in the grand plan.
Right.
But even as I look at, how busy or how slow we've been at times, I think I've equated a lot of, everything looks different. The technology's different. So some of the things that maybe should have gotten my attention to be like, dude, like you haven't done anything really different than what you were doing before that, but it's a new season. It's time for you to wake up.
Yeah, indeed. And I mean, what that really does is, if you're looking for that sustainable process, in the book, I do teach a 7-step framework that is sustainable by yourself. But that very first step in the framework is clarity. And, it's consistently asking yourself a single question. Okay. What do I want? Yeah. You see, because what you want today looks different than what you wanted 5 years ago, 6 months ago, a year ago. It could shift and change, and it's okay. But we've got to ask ourselves the question, because sometimes we say that we want something a long time ago, we get it, and we're okay. And then the vision gets blurry, and then we get busy and think that all is well. And so the first step that we need to take inside that process is define a focused, meaningful vision for your future so that you can move with intention, not just motion. We want to move with intention. So asking yourself that question, what do I want? And that can be in every area of life, but just a simple blank piece of paper and just going, what do I want? What do I want at the top of that thing? And that shifts and changes throughout seasons. And if it does, it's okay, because every single time, Ryan, that you've been crystal clear on what it is that you wanted, you've got it every single time. I mean, the evidence of that is the shirt on your back, the shoes on your feet. At some point in time, you said to yourself, hey, I want those shoes. And whether you had the money or not, the timing or not, you figured out a way to get it. So if you want to get greater results, or if you want to start moving forward again in your business, get clear. Ask yourself that simple question. What do I want?
Yeah. I love that. Every year, at the end of every year, I'm asking that question. Like, what do I want out of my business? I mean, I try to ask, like, personal life, what are all of the things? What are the rhythms that might be a little bit messed up, or just things that I haven't been paying attention to? Am I doing the things inside of my business that I want to be? Is this a team that I want to be working with? Another suggestion, I've gone through this with a guy that does a lot of coaching for me. Ask that question, what do you want? And then a good follow-up is like, why do I want that thing?
Yeah.
Right. And get really, really clear on
the why is very important. But I would encourage you and then all the listeners, because I think that we all do this on an annual basis. I think for the most part, most people that are listening to this podcast or they're actively watching videos, they are good goal setters at the beginning of the year. But here's what I find that happens is that, okay, that's great, Ryan. It's June now, it's July now, and you did set those goals at the beginning of the year. But a real quick test on your clarity, all right, and your intention is that go back and grab your goals from the beginning of the year. And then I want you to look at your to-do list from the last week. And what'll happen is your to-do list will look crazy in comparison to what you said that you wanted. And so if we can keep those two in alignment together, what I'm doing daily and what I set out to do at the beginning of the year, then now you start to make that progress. And then also, if that also needs to change from what you said at the beginning of the year, that now your why isn't deep enough, you don't want that, you can it's okay to let those goals go, but get clear on what it is that you do want.
Yeah, man, that's really good. I feel all of that. We started in 2016, I think, practicing EOS, the Entrepreneur Operating System,
familiar.
and breaking down the year into quarters, and then breaking down the quarters into weeks. That has been, what you just shared was a game changer for me, because I would get through halfway through the year and just be like, where am I going? What are we doing this year? I know this is on the list. And people, the way that they teach it in EOS is like, most companies, they'll get to like the last quarter of the year and they'll look at their goals that they made at the beginning of the year and like, holy crap, we haven't done any of these. So then they're just like, moving super fast to try to accomplish it. And maybe they accomplish one, maybe they don't, but that is definitely a shared experience.
Yeah. Indeed.
So what's next? What's another like key part of the framework?
Take a look. So there's 7 steps to it. I'll go through those, but I think a good one inside of, this community here would be probably the 4th and 5th step would be critical. But the second step inside the 7-step framework is gathering. And what that is doing is learning purposefully and actually collecting insights and experiences to make sure that they line up. So this is whatever it is that I want to learn. Okay. I'm going to begin to gather information in that specific area. So books, videos, audios, courses, conferences, all lined up. Now, this is the trick here, is it has to all be lined up, because what happens too often to us is that reading a book on this topic, I'm listening to videos on this topic. I'm not talking about you, Ryan.
Yeah, I can't. If you're watching, you see my facial reaction. I'm just like, ooh, yeah, okay.
I'm gonna keep going. I'm listening to podcast on another topic. I'm watching videos on another topic, and I'm getting coaching on another topic, and I'm going to attend a conference on a different topic. And then I'm wondering, why do I keep getting stuck in the motions? But now, just take the strength in that and go, okay, what if I aligned all of those topics up? The books, the videos, the audio, the courses, the video, all that lined up on one singular topic for a month. Yeah. How much faster would you get through that content if you lined it up and we use what's called layered learning? And so that's the gathering phase. We want to line up that information. The third phase is filtering, where in the past, your success was based upon the access that you had information to. So in previous years, it was, the higher incomes were based on what college you went to, things of that nature. Years before that, your success was based on, having access to be able to actually even learn how to read. But today, we've got the opposite problem. And so the third step is not in how much access of information you have to, but the third step is filtering that information that you have access to. And again, that helps with our layered learning, but filtering and prioritizing what's distracting and what matters most and spitting out the bones. Make sure that we're just getting meat. But I think for your community right here, Ryan, these are the 2 steps that I think are most critical. The fourth step is
write these down.
Yeah, the 4th step is guidance, which is leveraging wisdom from mentors and trusted voices to help navigate challenges. The 5th step is relationships, surrounding yourself with people who are like-minded, that are moving in the same direction as you are. Okay. Those 2 in this specific industry, I think, are great because it's a solopreneur business. Okay. So you've got a camera, you've got some lights, and now you're saying, hey, I know I can make some money doing this. And you go on this bipolar roller coaster. Some days you're like, yes, I'm on top of the world. Some days you're looking in the mirror going, what am I doing with my life?
All right. Yep, been there.
So we need those guides, and I love what your organization, the video Sherpa. In the book I talk about the Sherpa that takes you up to Everest, and we talk about how those guides can help you along the way, not drag you along the way, but guide you along the way, and it's so important. And then the relationships is critical. you do not have to do this business alone. There's communities you can plug into. There's guides you can plug into. You don't have to make this all up. There's people that have gone before you. Tap into that community, lock arms, and I promise you, you're going to move in the direction that you want to go.
Okay. Did you guys hear that? Did you hear that? Write that down, what Chris just said. I think that's been the lifeblood of my business. Any success that I've achieved, it's because I haven't been afraid to build community and build relationship with people that are doing the exact same thing as me.
Correct.
I've gotten so much fulfillment out of brainstorming and trying to help, but also looking for help. It's just been, I mean, you know, the mastermind, they've heard me talk about the mastermind time and time again. Right. But being in a small group that's focused on supporting each other, it doesn't matter if we're even doing the same kind of video, the same kind of industry in the same area. People are going to resonate with us differently, and we bring something unique to the table. But it's like, if we're just going to sit back and wait for people to call us, then yeah, like we're hoping for other things that are going to motivate people to hire us. But if we're actively seeking out our best fit clients, best fit jobs, doing it in the context of being led, being open to learning, and plugging into a community of like-minded people that really view the world with an abundance mindset. Yeah. It's just so much better. It's so much more fulfilling.
It's all the difference in the world. And what people don't understand is if they go into this scaredy mindset to say, well, hey, I don't want to be around other people in the industry because they might take my clients, it's the exact opposite. You know, for me, when I came into, you know, speaking masterminds and speaking communities and became part of the Maxwell team, in fact, it opened up more doors than I could actually think of, because now if I'm working with the client, I don't want to deliver a specific type of content. I'm opening that door for somebody else. They're doing the same for me, or we're sharing different ideas on what worked in your book launch, what worked in my book launch, what worked in your video marketing, what worked in, I mean, all the way down the line. And so when you can get around other people that are moving in a direction, your world will open up. So stop thinking that you got to be, you know, Superman or Superwoman and you have to do it all on your own. The fastest way to get here is with others.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 100%. One quick story, when I was deciding, like very early on when we launched Studio Sherpas, the idea was that we would offer a course, and I would give like the contract that we use so people could have like something to reference. Well, I also created this budget calculator inside of Google Sheets, and it was my magic formula. This is how I quote jobs out. And I was hesitant at first. I'm like, man, I don't want to, this is the secret sauce here. And if I give this to people, then they know everything. And it's laughable now. Number one, it's become like the most popular digital product that I've ever sold, but it hasn't impacted my business at all negatively. If anything, like you just said, I've gotten a lot more work because I have a great network of filmmakers all over that I can contract or hand projects off to. And it's so funny that I thought that I had this one thing figured out, this magic spreadsheet, that if other people had access to it, my business would burn to the ground. What the heck? So it's been quite the opposite.
How is that spreadsheet going to block your business?
I was a genius. I figured out the secret code.
Right.
Ridiculous.
I love it. That's great. But that's the mentality, though. And so, you know, again, I get a chance to lead speakers and coaches all around the world with Maxwell leadership. And that's the thing that we do, is that we give out those contracts. We give out the marketing templates. And in fact, every single day, all I'm trying to do is figure out how I can make this business that I'm doing easier for someone else. I mean, that's my goal is, man, can I help somebody shorten the curve? Can I help somebody shorten the curve from speaking for free to speaking for a fee? Can I shorten the curve of somebody getting the first coaching client? Can I shorten and so every single day, that's my mentality of how I can help and serve and add value to people. And as a result of that, you know, the opportunities come my way.
Case in point, huge props to Andrew Mazzano, who introduced us. You know, I mean, we're in the same space. So he could approach this two ways. Like, I don't want to introduce Chris to Ryan because, I mean, he could become Ryan's client. Or like, no, there's enough to go around. And if Chris can't stand me,
Right.
Ryan might be a better fit to work on
Right.
projects. Or most people can't stand Ryan, so I know he's
Right.
not going to work with Ryan, you know?
Well, that was
So
special.
that's just like,
That one was special because Andrew, he is very special to Maxwell leadership. John Maxwell, myself, Mark Cole, and I was actually delivering my audio book in his studio, and he goes, "Oh my goodness!" He's like, "Chris, this book is for my audience." He goes, "I am this audience." He goes, he goes, "You need to talk to Ryan because this book addresses everything."
that's what we're
we go
talking about,
through."
man. Mm-hmm.
And so that's
Love that. And he could have kept it for him.
That's right.
And just, you could have been his best kept secret. But
Right.
I love it. That's so good. Well, what else?
Yeah. So after you get through guidance and relationships, of course, steps 6 and 7. So step 6 is action. It's action. Nothing happens unless you take action. You could have a clear vision on where you want to go. You can gather all the content and line it up if you want to. You can filter it. You can get a mentor and guide. You can have relationships around you. But at the end of the day, all right, no matter how many push-ups you do, Ryan, it is not going to help my chest. Okay. Like, as my guy, it's just not going to happen. So I have to do something for that. And in this chapter is where we take, plans and turn them into progress and consistently and intentionally take those steps to create momentum. And then the 7th step is evaluation. And that's taking a look to reflect on our progress, to kind of self-assess and realign, and taking a look at our results in the process so that we can re-enter right back in to that clarity and going back to the steps again. So this is a cycle that we do over and over again in order to reach where we want to go.
I love that. Was this book and this framework, was this born out of your own sort of forgetting and stumbling, some rumbles?
Yeah. So it's funny. So I didn't set off to write this book initially. And then I went to a consultant to get some guidance and some mentor about the book selling process and things of that nature. And I was just going to kind of look to see if this would be a resource that would help our members. Well, in that process, they said, "Well, Chris, you should write a book." And, I was like, "Nah, I don't really want to do that right now." And that we walked through, they said, "Well, hey, what problem would you want to solve if you could?" And so we began to talk about different things. And one of the things I was really passionate about was helping people, with underperformance. How do you get better results in your life? But then we began to look at, okay, underperformance, but what's the root cause of underperformance? And we kept coming back to the root cause was complacency. And then we began to kind of fact check and do some research. And then I had thought about a recent situation I had with John Maxwell. When I went to go speak in Cambodia, we were going to go speak to about 2,500 people. We had just met with the president of Cambodia, so I'm feeling pretty good about myself. And, I go speak to 2,500 people. Some things go wrong on the stage. Remote doesn't work, interpreters kind of bumping back and forth, slides are a mess because of translation. But I manage it all, and at the end of it, I got a line of people lined up, and they're telling me how great it was. But then I go sit down with a ear that has heard speakers for over 50 years, with John Maxwell. I say, "John, give me a little bit of feedback on my talk today." Well, that little bit of feedback turned into about a page of notes. And then, of course, all the non-speakers at the table that, were there, they thought it was a brainstorming session, so they start jumping in, giving me ideas. And, as I'm looking back at this, I go back through that list that night. There wasn't a thing on there that I did not know, that I had not done in the past. But what happened was I had came to a place of drift and complacency. And another way that I define complacency inside this book is I call it a secret place of satisfactory success. A secret place. Now, it wouldn't be overtly obvious that Chris is complacent in his life. You call 100 people and say, "Hey, is Chris Robinson complacent?" You're going to get a no out of 99.9 of them, but that's not true. I've got lots of complacency in my life. It just may not show up the way that it shows up for a lot of people, but in that space, I'm going, and when I was thinking about this book, I'm going, "Oh my goodness," as I'm creating the quiz and the assessment for this, I'm going, "Oh my goodness, I'm complacent, you know?
Mm.
And so it really reignited a fire. And as I look at the 7-step framework, if I look at any results that I got in my life for the past 20 years, it was unintentionally this 7-step framework. But over the years, found tuned it. And I know that I know that I know it's the 7-step framework that has helped me get to where I wanted to get to.
I love it. That's great. That's really some humble pie after that great speech.
Right.
That's good. What would you say, like if you had to dream about your hopes for the book and the people that read it and go through it and take the framework seriously and apply it to their lives, like what's a dream come true for you in this project?
Yeah, man, I mean it. I mean it when I say that I want to be a rumble strip. I mean, my goal for this book is to awaken the unknowingly complacent, to help them get going, reignited, and back on track to where they want to go. There's many dreams that fade each and every single day because life is hard, life is difficult, and life is happening to us. You know, we're either just coming out of a problem, getting ready to go into a problem, or we're in the middle of a problem. You know, and so what I want to do is I want to be an encourager. I want to be a guide. I want to be a person that's going to help you come out of that drift and go into drive.
I love it. It's so good. I mean, being surrounded by the kind of people that you're surrounded with, what would you say is like one of the best pieces of wisdom that just really kind of rocked your soul?
Oh my goodness. Well, I mean, I get to spend a lot of time with John Maxwell, so it's like a fountain of gold whenever he's, you know, just speaking. And I've got pages and pages of notes. But I would say really being intentional about adding value to people. And as I'm around John Maxwell, of course, I can tell you all the things that are taught in the books, but being around John Maxwell, I have the opportunity not just to be taught, but there's some things that can be caught. And what I mean by that is stuff that you get by being within proximity of people. And so, you know, I've truly learned how to close the gap between who I am on stage, who I am in person. Okay, that's my greatest fear. I don't want to be this person on stage, this person off stage, and there be this huge gap. And I've experienced that, and maybe you have too. A lot of you videographers out there, you know, you got a personality behind there, and you meet them, and you say, "Ooh, I love their books," and then you meet them, and you're like, "Ooh, I like their books."
Oh, yes.
And so, you know, philosophy that I just love is treat people like people and adults like adults, and the world will be well.
Yeah, that's so good. I'm starting my book project. I've started it. It's maybe gonna go into, I won't say overdrive, but we'll put it in drive next month.
Come on.
Yeah, some people are gonna be like, "Ooh, I like the book."
Right.
But hey, you know, give them something that they can like a little bit more than me.
Right.
I do what I can. That's so good. I think that's probably one of my favorite things that you said, like being in the presence of others in close proximity, we learn the most. I mean, you and I, we can read as many books as we want. We can watch as many YouTube videos and take courses and all of the things. Last week, I was in the middle of nowhere, Ohio, for a 3-day social media conference, meeting a bunch of leaders and influencers, and that was very, very inspiring. And then the weekend before that, I was at mastermind retreat with a bunch of other just beautiful people. And, you know, you walk away from those. I'm sure everybody that listens to this show, they walk away super inspired, like, wow, that was amazing. Yeah. But when you're in the presence of other people and you share space, like physical space, it does something to our souls, and we catch a lot more, right? And I think it just brings a level of inspiration that it's hard to find, you know, behind the screen. And this has been super fun and fulfilling. But I'm sure if you and I were together, we'd be having an even better time, which I don't know if it's even possible. But.
Indeed it is. Indeed it is.
Well, Chris, this is great, man. What's the best place for people to follow along with you, get the book, all that stuff?
Yeah, so get the book on Amazon. So Drift to Drive Drive. And then we have a website that's got some bonuses on there. We're giving away a 10-module masterclass, the first 2 chapters of the book, and a couple other bonuses. But if you go to drifttodrivebook.com, you can register for all those bonuses after you order the book on Amazon. Book comes out September 2nd. Hope that you pick it up.
Oh, baby. Coming up. Love it. This has been a blast, man. I really appreciate you. I love your passion. I love this framework. I'm excited for the book launch and all of the things. Thank you for being with us today. Really appreciate your time and super duper excited for you.
Thank you, Ryan.
Hey, thanks so much for tuning into this episode of the Grow Your Video Business podcast. If you got something out of today's conversation, do me a favor, share it with a friend or post it on your socials. Tag me at Ryan Coral or at Grow Your Video Business. I'd love to know what resonated with you. If you've got a question or takeaway, drop a comment wherever you're listening or watching this. You can also shoot me a message. I read every single one. And hey, if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss the next episode. We've got more stories, strategies, and behind the scenes insights coming your way to help you build a business that you love. Keep creating, keep sharing your story, and keep showing up. I'm cheering you on. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. See you next time.